Hello and welcome to the tutorial for the No Beginning Chain Quick Shell Afghan. And this is one of a series of Afghans that I have created that are really good to use with bumpy yarns like homespun and boucle, any kind of yarns that have a lot of texture and therefore are not easy to crochet where you're having to find individual stitches. The No Beginning Chain series of Afghans are created with the special purpose of not having to find chain stitches or even stitches throughout the blanket. All the stitches are made into chain spaces or in spaces between stitches so that no searching for little details when you're doing the work. And the beginning of the blanket is done with a series of loops, and in this case it's created with 3 chain stitches and a triple crochet to make a loop that then you can work the beginning row into. So to begin, I'm going to make 3 chains, and you'll notice that I'm not using a bumpy yarn for the demonstration, just so that you can see in the video the details, you can see the actual stitches, but it's not necessary when you're making your own blanket. Just use as bumpy a yarn as you'd like. So I have 3 chains, and then I'm going to make a triple crochet, so I wrap around twice, and this will be the only chain stitch or any stitch that you will have to find in this entire blanket. Is the first one. In that very first chain, make this triple crochet, and then that's it. You will no longer have to find any specific stitches. Now I have one loop. It has 3 chains on the bottom and this triple crochet on the top, and you will hold it with the triple on the top and chain 3 more. 1, 2, 3, and then make a triple by yarning over twice, and this time I'm going to make my triple into this hole of this loop that I just made. So put your needle in that hole, yarn over and pull through, draw through 2, draw through 2, draw through 2 to make your triple crochet. Now I have 2 loops. So for this blanket we want to start with an odd number of loops, so I'm going to make 5 more to start with 7 loops. 1, 2, 3. Make my triple into the last loop that I made, so it's the second loop, and I make a triple, and I have 3 loops. Chain 3, and so I'm always going to make my triple into whatever the last loop is that I made. I'm always holding the triple from the prior loop on top, so I continue to hold it where my chain spaces, my chains are on the bottom and my triples are on the top. 1, 2, 3, triple crochet. 1, 2, 3, triple crochet. Now I have 6, so I need to make 1 more. 2, 3. So that is my foundation row, and what is going to be different about this row versus all the rows after that is I'm not going to turn my work. I'm just going to work back across what I just made without turning it. And I'm going to hold it where the chains are on the bottom, the triples are on the top, and I'm going to start working back, making my first row. Or it's actually in the instructions, it's the second row, but it's the first row of the kind of the pattern of the blanket. But row 2 in the instructions. And by the way, the instructions, the link to the pattern is in the description of the video. So chain 4, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to, in this first space, work 2 double crochet. So yarn over, insert needle into that hole, and make 2 double crochet. Wow. Then in my second space, I'm going to make a single crochet, I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then in that same space make another single crochet. Now I'm going to work in the next space, and I'm going to make one of these shell type stitches where I'm going to make 2 double crochet, 1, 2, and I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2, then again another 2 double crochet, all in the same space. So I have kind of a half shell in the first space, and then this single crochet, 3 chain, single crochet configuration in the second space, and then I made a full shell in the next space. So going across, I'm going to alternate making the single crochets with the chain 3 between them and then a shell, alternating across. So this one I'm due for a single crochet, 1, 2, 3, and then another single crochet, and then in this one I'm going to do the shell of 2 double crochets, chain 2, and then 2 more double crochets. And then again single crochet, chain 2, 3 I mean, and then single crochet. Now this last loop I'm going to do, it's kind of a half shell type thing, and the way that I'm doing that is I'm going to do 2 double crochet, and then instead of completing that shell as I did across, I'm just going to do a triple crochet, 2, 3. And what that does is it kind of gives me a place, a little gap that I could work into when I turn the blanket. So this time we've gone across and we've worked across. Each time we've worked across the triple crochets. They were on the top when I was holding this. So all these stitches occurred over the triple crochets from the foundation row. Now I'm going to chain 3. And this time I'm going to turn my work, because now we're working in just a traditional back and forth crochet type style. And this is a 2-row repeat pattern, so every other row will be the same, and you'll just repeat 2 rows over and over again. So I chained 3 and I turned, and that gap between the 2 double crochet and the triple at the very end, you're going to work a single crochet in that gap. And now we're going to alternate shells and the chain 3 stitches again. So this was basically our chain 3 configuration, and now I'm going to work a shell in the prior row chain 3 here. So I'm going to do 2 double crochet, and I'm going to chain 2 and do 2 more double crochet, all in that chain 3 space. Then the next thing I'm going to work in is the chain 2 space of the prior row's shell, and in that one I'm going to do the single crochet and then chain 3 and then single crochet. Then I'm back to another chain 3 space, so I'm going to do a shell in it, chain, double crochet, chain 2, and then 2 more double crochet. Then the chain 2 space, single crochet, 1, 2, 3, single crochet, then another shell, 2 double crochet, 2 chains, 2 double crochet. Then back to the edge again. This was a partial shell, and the way that I'm going to finish off is I'm going to single crochet and then chain 1 and then do a double crochet into that same space of that turning chain. And so it's it's equivalent to the chain 3 on the other end, but it's just worked with a double crochet in one chain. Now I'm going to chain 4, 2, 3, 4, and turn. This will be like this row, but instead of working, the first time I was working in those foundation spaces, now I'm working in the way that I'm going to work this row for the entire rest of the blanket. I'm going to do 2 double crochet in that chain 1 space. So again, kind of creating a partial shell for the beginning of that row. Then in the chain 2 space of the shell here, I'm going to do single crochet, chain 3, single crochet. Then in the chain 3 from that row before, I'm going to do a shell. And then just continue working across in the same way. In each shell, you'll always do single crochet, 3 chains, and a single crochet. And in each chain 3 loop, you will always work a shell of 2 double crochet. And so even though there are 2 rows that are repeated, the type of stitches that you're doing are actually the same in every single row. So it's almost like having a 1 row repeat. The only difference is the ends, what the ends look like. So my end on the prior row was this kind of a chain 3 thing, so I'm doing a partial shell at the end of this one. So I do 2 double crochets and then a triple. So that was row 4, and you will just repeat row 3 and row 4 as often as you like to make this blanket as long as you would like to make it. And there are, on the website, I have a chart to show you how many spaces you want to begin with to make this blanket as wide as you would like, and how much yarn it will take to make blankets of various sizes. Thank you for watching the tutorial. Bye.